In a world where sports have stretched beyond the fabric of reality and podcasts became as common as potholes, there were two guys in Morgantown, West Virginia who desired to do something different. These two guys came up with an idea to bring real life back to the arena of sports and hopefully be somewhat entertaining along the way. These two guys are certainly no experts, and they're definitely not comedians. They just think they are. This is the Extra Medium Podcast, and here are those two guys.
And here we go. Welcome, everyone, to Episode 8 of the Extra Medium Sports Podcast. How did we come up with such a crazy name? Well, it's just because we are two plus-size guys living in an extra medium world. Hello and welcome, everyone. I am Justin Jackson, sports editor of the Dominion Post.
I'm Matt Amory, former WVU lineman and state champion at Morgantown High.
In studio today, we have Michael Griffith and Spencer Ripchick, both of the Dominion Post. We're going to talk about some crazy happenings in college and high school football. Week 7 of high school football, where both, Matt, listen to this, both the number 1 and number 2 teams in the state in Quad A lost on the same weekend.
Just a crazy week. It's going to be a great show. We got a great show for you.
We will also get you ready for WVU's trip down south to Disneyland, down to Orlando, Florida, where the Mountaineers will face UCF at 1 p.m. Saturday. That is a game broadcasted, televised on TNT, and I believe HBO Max the next day or the same day. I'm not sure how that works, but it will be on TNT. Before we get into all of that, Matt, let's hit him up with a sponsor plug.
Hey, the Extra Medium Podcast is proudly sponsored by the Erickson Alumni Center. Whether you're interested in hosting a corporate retreat, a baby shower, or a beautiful wedding reception, we take pride in making every experience a memorable one.
It is time to bring in our college football insider, Spencer Ripchick. And, Spencer is not a, Matt, you probably won't believe this, Spencer is not a very well-liked person in Lubbock, Texas these days.
What is that even? How is that possible?
Well, I'm going to tell you how. There are 66 voters in all in the AP Top 25 College Football Poll. Of the 66, Spencer had Texas Tech ranked number 11 in his weekly ballot, and that was the lowest on all 66 ballots.
But, I mean, that's a fair position. Spence, I got your back on this. And you know what? I love that they're throwing tortillas on the field out there, but nah. I don't like them coming at my boy Spence like that. I got your back, Spence.
Spence, what say you?
So I have them ranked 11 right now. I mean, I think it's a fair assessment of how the Big 12 – I mean, they're the top team in the Big 12, no question. I think it's just them at top of the table, and I think they're going to keep winning, and their schedule is pretty easy. I looked at it the other day, and it's pretty favorable. I think they'll easily get into the college football playoff, but I just don't think the caliber of the Big 12 is that great this year. I mean, one of the head coaches is fired. West Virginia hasn't looked good. UCF hasn't looked good. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are not very good. I mean, Kansas State was supposed to be really good. They're bad. Arizona State, they have 2 losses. They're not that great. There's a lot of teams that are not very good compared to the other conferences, like the Big Ten, who has a lot of top teams. I mean, the Big Ten has 2 teams in the top 3, and the SEC's got I think they have 8 ranked teams right now. So they're just not the caliber of competition that Texas Tech hasn't been that great. I know they beat Utah by like 20 points in a ugly win, but I was still a win nonetheless. But I wasn't high on Utah. I don't know how BYU is going to do this weekend in the Holy War against Utah. So we'll have to see, and we'll have to see how the rest of the season shakes out.
Here's the other thing about Texas Tech. Their quarterback's hurt again, right? Morton, he's, day-to-day?
Yeah, he's day-to-day right now. But, I mean, they still did win with their backup quarterback against Kansas, and they kind of boat raced Kansas pretty well there last week. But, yeah, I just don't know. Texas Tech is just – they keep doing their thing. I mean, they're gonna move up, obviously. But so far, it's not their fault, but I just think the competition of the Big 12 this year isn't up to the standards that it usually is.
Spence, I'm interested in this from your take because you being a Penn State guy. I didn't know if you knew this, Matt. Spencer is a Penn State graduate.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of the Nittany Lions, James Franklin, what a crazy week this has really been in college football. James Franklin, a year removed from taking Penn State to the Final Four, is now looking for work, right? I guess there's no other way to put it. Spencer, your thoughts? Have you talked to any of your friends and alumni at Penn State? What's going on there with James Franklin?
Yeah, it's just an absolute crazy scene out of state college. I mean, Penn State was preseason number 2. I guess everyone who hates the preseason polls will be laughing, but Penn State was ranked number 2 in the preseason poll. They gave it to Oregon in overtime, and then ever since that Oregon loss, they haven't looked the same. Lost to UCLA, who had an offensive coordinator who didn't know how to work a headset, and also he didn't even know some of the plays, so their quarterback had to call the plays by himself at times. So that was an ugly loss. Then they lost to Northwestern. I mean, their quarterback Drew Aller went down, which is unfortunate, but still, you shouldn't be losing to Northwestern, even with Drew not playing for some of the game. But yeah, it's just a crazy scene, and now they're looking for a head coach, and yeah, it's just wild.
When did Aller get hurt? Was that early in the game?
No, it was more towards the end of the game.
Okay. Well, on the UCLA coach, he was a tight ends coach, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I know you
New
got
Heisel's son was calling the plays.
Yeah.
So I mean, Matt, who was your tight ends coach back in the day?
Herb Hand, Coach Hand.
Now, could he have stepped in and called the plays back in the day?
He could have stepped in and called the plays. Here's the thing: Coach Hand had a huge head. We used to say Coach Hand's helmet was the. You remember the big Mountaineer helmet we would run out of?
That was his helmet?
We used to say that was Coach Hand's helmet. So there's definitely plenty of. Coach Hand is a wonderful coach. I think he could have called the plays. I really do.
Okay, so maybe we should give a little bit more credit to the tight ends coach then, maybe?
I mean, I think we should. Plus, New Heisel's son. And what was so weird about that UCLA? Did he just not look the part of just a UCLA Southern
and
California boy?
carried him off the field.
Right.
Right. All kinds of things here to talk about. Bill Belichick, right? Is he going, staying? What's your take on the Belichick issue?
Well, I mean, I think everyone around Chapel Hill, I have a family that lives in Chapel Hill, they want him gone. I mean, he hasn't looked.
They want him gone.
They want him gone. I mean, it's been not lived up to the standards of what they thought. It kind of reminds me of Urban Meyer in Jacksonville a couple of years ago.
That's a good
he was like, oh man, he was a historic college coach. Switched back over to the NFL and was an absolute dumpster fire. I mean, Bill said, I think it was yesterday or Sunday or Saturday after the game, and there was rumors of him looking for a buyout or UNC looking for a buyout, and he said those were legitimately false, and he plans to stay there. So it looks like he's rocking out the rest of the season unless something in the UNC administration fires him.
Is it weird that his girlfriend or whatever, that just rubs me the wrong way?
Well, I think
it's just like a part of
that plays a part in it, right? I mean,
you better win if you got that going on. I mean,
well, on the looking for the buyout part, what I was going to say is everyone's looking for a buyout. What's Franklin going to get?
Yeah, so I think Franklin's buyout is around $50 million. I think I saw.
$50 million?
Yeah, and
to go away.
Yeah,
to go away.
In the past 3 seasons, I mean, he won 10 games and 1 play away from the national championship. But I listened to the press conference from the Penn State athletic director, and he just said that they wanted to win national championships, and it was the right time, and he didn't feel like James Franklin could win a national championship. But yeah, I saw a stat where I think he makes $20,000 a day after that buyout.
Jeez Louise.
I think it's until 2030 or 2031, and he'll get paid like that. So it's just absolutely crazy money for
That's Jimbo Fisher Company right there.
Oh, yeah. It's the second
largest buyout.
Largest buyout next to Jimbo Fisher's at Florida State, right?
Can I put you on the spot?
I think it's AM, I think, yeah.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Who do you want to see as the next head coach at Penn State? And do you have a prediction who it might be? Way too early, or?
I think I just saw something on my phone that said that Pat Kraft, the athletic director for Penn State, wants to take a big swing, and he's one of the names that came up was Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame. I highly doubt he leaves Notre Dame. I mean, that was his school back in the day. There's no chance he leaves there. But yeah, I think the best option is Kurt Cignetti at Indiana, but I don't think he's going to leave Indiana with what he's built so far in the past 2 years. I know Matt Rule is probably, everyone's saying it's his job to lose, but I don't think Matt Rule is a kind of guy where you buy out somebody for $50 million. I think it's kind of a lateral move at that point. And yeah, I think there's other names like the Missouri coach, Drinkowitz. He's been pretty good, and of course they have the Penn State quarterback who left last year with him, and he's looked pretty good. So I mean, if he gets the job, you can come over with him. And then there's the funny part where maybe it's the Vanderbilt quarterback, which is kind of hilarious because James Franklin was the Vanderbilt quarterback back in the day. So, yeah, there's a couple options. And then I don't think a lot of people have offensive coordinators' names out there, like the Oregon one, Brian Hartline at Ohio State, who is the wide receivers coach, and he's done really good with that. But I don't think you're going to make that kind of move. You need a guy who's been established and can win games and has been proven to win games. So I think they're going to try to take as many big swings as possible. But realistically, I think Matt Rule is probably going to be the favorite to take the job just because he has the background at Penn State. And Dabo could be a possibility. I mean, I think Dabo is probably going to stay at Clemson, but that could be a move too. Or they think Lane Kiffin, but I don't think Lane Kiffin is built for the North and the cold, so I highly doubt he'll be there. But there's a lot of options, and it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. I mean, even every day after, there's already been rumors of like Marcus Freeman, how they're taking a big swing on him. So it'll be an interesting couple of months while they figure out who's going to be the head coach.
I want to make a correction real quick. I said a few minutes ago that Jimbo Fisher's buyout was with Florida State. It was with Texas A&M. It came to mind. So that was the largest buyout. James Franklin is the second. How about this to Penn State? Let's throw in there Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
There's no shot they make that change.
I got a better chance.
Belichick in
I got a better chance.
College.
Hey, I got a better chance growing a full head of hair than that happened.
We have so much to talk about. West Virginia traveling south to Orlando, Florida. UCF a 7.5 point favorite. UCF 0-3 in the Big 12 like West Virginia, so someone's going to get their first Big 12 win of the season. And much like West Virginia, UCF is also going through some quarterback disparity. What's going on there, Spence, with UCF's quarterbacks?
Yeah, their quarterback, I talked to some UCF beat writers yesterday. He kind of laid out the situation. They were rolling with one quarterback for most of the season. He got banged up, and this one guy, I'm blanking on his name, he played at Marshall and FSU.
Cam Fancer.
Yeah, him. So he played pretty well last game. I mean, 300 yards, he rushed for 200 yards and rushed for over 100 and rushed for a touchdown in the garbage time there. But yeah, I mean, UCF's been competitive in all three of their Big 12 games, unlike West Virginia. So, I mean, UCF is a good team, but I mean, realistically, if you look in the mirror, they're kind of identical in where they are as programs. I mean, Scott Frost is coming back after a bad breakup or a bad try to go back to his alma mater at Nebraska, and that didn't work. So now he's back after having a lot of success at UCF. I mean, they hung a banner that saying they won the national championship that one year with him.
They did.
Yeah, so they have a banner there, which is kind of crazy. But, I mean, it's fair enough. They went undefeated that year, and they didn't get any looks at the college football playoff just because of the conference they're in. But, yeah, so UCF, they're in a similar situation, and I think one of these teams will finally get a Big 12 win. It'll just be interesting to see which one it is.
Is this a must-win for West Virginia?
Oh, it's a must-win for both teams. I mean, if you look at West Virginia's schedule the rest of the way, I don't know how many winnable more games you have. I mean,
it's tough.
You got Colorado at home maybe is a good one. I mean, you're not going to TCU's a hard out, and so is Arizona State's going to be a hard out, and Texas Tech at the end of the year. I mean, I don't think you win that game. So I think this is definitely a must-win. And Rich Rod has looked pretty favorable after the bye, so that's something you could hold on to, and maybe they can get a win down in Florida.
You know, I saw Spencer wrote a story on that earlier in the week about Rich Rod's success coming off the bye. What was it about Rich Rod? What did he do during the bye weeks back in the day?
The bye weeks are pretty intense. Like it almost feels like camp, but you're doing a lot of scrimmaging and a lot of running of plays that you want to get that you think it's gonna put you in the best position to win in the future. So it's a lot of polishing. That it's also resting, and it's also fun because the young guys and the guys who didn't get to play a lot, kind of like me, we get to go out there and scrimmage as well with the boys, and as well as much as you recover physically, which you need, especially after 6 games in a row, you recover mentally and you come back. You come back fresh and you come back ready to play, regardless of the situation.
How'd you do in those scrimmages?
That
was your chance to shine?
That was my chance to shine. I was starting to fight or something. I did whatever I could to get in those. I was starting to fight with somebody.
UCF, we mentioned quarterback Tavon Jackson began his career in Indiana. He's banged up. We don't know if he's going to play or if it's going to be Cam Fancer, who started his career at Marshall. So a little bit of a tie in there, but with the West Virginia quarterback situation. Speaking of which, Spencer, do we know who West Virginia's quarterback is going to be?
Yeah, so I mean, like I've said a couple of times in this podcast, Nico Markel started out the season. Yesterday on Rich's radio show, he officially said that Nico's done for the year and he's not going to come back. I think he briefly said that he's back in West Virginia or Morgantown helping out, and Jaheim White has been. He was out for the season, and Jaden Bray. They've all been around trying to help out. So he's done for the year. Max Brown is questionable. He's hurt too. Who's the Charlotte transfer? I mean, he hasn't played much anyways. And Jalen Henderson is also banged up, probably not going to play this week. So you're looking at the two youngsters, Khalil Wilkins, who played against BYU, and you're looking at Scotty Fox back, and the two of them.
The two freshmen, right?
Yep, and apparently Rich said yesterday they're going to be splitting reps this week in practice, and then the best man wins. Probably going to be Khalil Wilkins if I were to guess.
The running game situation also in doubt.
Yep.
Breaking news there with Ty Edwards.
Yeah, Ty Edwards is in Alabama as of yesterday, going to see a specialist for his hip injury that's been kind of bothering him, so he wants to get that cleared out. I mean, if the specialist thing, if going to a specialist, Nico had any indication how that goes, he doesn't look like Ty Edwards is going to be back anytime soon.
So that's the running game is hurt. Who steps in there with is Sincere back yet?
Yeah, he'll be good. Diori Hubbard will be another guy.
Diori Hubbard,
of course,
okay.
you got Clay Ash in there as well. So, and then maybe Tyler Jacklish will get some more reps. But yeah, it's going to be another running back by committee. I think they'll probably lean on Diori Hubbard a little bit more. I'll probably have to ask. We'll have to ask today for the press conferences who it'll be a running back by committee. I know Rich doesn't like a running back by committee, but I mean, with all the injuries, you kind of have to go to that.
And who else is out? You were saying linebacker, right?
Oh yeah, linebacker Ashton Woods is also done for the season, and that's what Rich Rodriguez said yesterday. He was in there with Reed Carrico and Chase Wilson. He had a pretty couple of good games. I think one of the games he actually got ejected though for a face mask or a late hit or something like that, a bad play.
Matt, it's time for you to suit back up, maybe.
Get me in there. Get me in there. I got me a couple high knees and butt kicks left in me.
So this is obviously a very crucial point here for West Virginia, and I was kind of thinking about this earlier, Matt. You were at West Virginia with Coach Rod during some of the low times and the high times. In a must-win situation, how is Rod going to approach this week? What's he saying to the guys before Saturday starts?
It's all depending on each variable. Coach Rod is a very meticulous, smart football genius, as well as he knows how to get his guys going. So it just depends on what's going to get his guys going for this particular game. I think for UCF, with UCF coming up, must win. Like as Spence said, I mean these are tough games coming up in the future. So it's a must win. It's a battle of the mids. Dare I say, it's a must-win, but Coach Rod is going to have you locked in. You're going to be quizzed. You're going to be tested. You're going to have to know, from an offensive line perspective, since I played offensive line, Coach Rod will talk to us in the team meetings, let us know his expectation, perhaps loafs of the previous game, say, hey, guys, this is what needs to get fixed. This is our game plan going in, and this is how we're going to do it. Then we break into our individual groups. For me, it was the offensive line, and we're tested. Not only tested on the field, but tested mentally, literally having to pass tests, which I didn't do too good at.
I'm surprised.
Not a good test taker, this guy. I even spelled my name wrong. That was weird. But he's going to have the guys ready. I don't see any lack of focus. I really, truly believe the players will be locked in.
Other Big 12 actions this week, we've got Arizona plays at Houston. Baylor is at TCU. Spencer's Texas Tech team is at Arizona State. That's a 4 p.m. game on Fox. These are all Saturday games. Number 23, Utah at number 15, BYU. The Holy War.
The Holy War.
That's the big one.
That's intense.
That's the 8 p.m. game on Fox. And then the sneaky good, number 24th ranked Cincinnati is at Oklahoma State. That's the 8 p.m. game on ESPN2. In 4 weeks, Spence, Texas Tech plays BYU. Is that the de facto Big 12 championship game, do you think?
I mean, it's looking like it, unless Utah can beat BYU this week. But then it'll kind of be unfortunate because we've already seen how Texas Tech and Utah plays out. And, yeah, that'll be kind of disappointing. But I don't know. I think Texas Tech at Arizona State this week, I think that'll be – I mean, Arizona State 4-2. Kenny Dillingham, he's always got his guys ready, and he's ready to go. I know they're talking about how Kenny was like, yeah, they have the most money, and now, I mean, it could be the formula for wins at this point. So I don't know. Maybe Kenny and Arizona State can surprise some people and pick up a win. I think they're like a touchdown favorite. I think Texas Tech is, so that'll be a close game. But I think the Holy War is the game to watch this week in the Big 12. I think that'll be such a physical game. I mean, they both have great offensive and defensive lines, so probably ground and pound. They both have quarterbacks that can run. Bear's more of a pocket passer, but he's a physical guy, and he can run some people over with his big size.
Maybe Arizona State brings back Scattaboo for a week.
I like that.
He's killing people.
Oh my gosh, he has done it from every level. Like, he even has clips from Sacramento State just carrying people.
Sacramento State.
Was it Sacramento State?
Look at Avery doing his homework.
I'm good for one a year.
Right.
I'm good for 1 year. Hey, Spence, is that quarterback for Arizona State? Is he still hurt? Is he hurt at all? Or I thought he was injured.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Arizona State. There's been a lot of injuries in not college football or in college football this year, especially in the Big 12. That's why I kind of don't really give West Virginia a pass, just because I mean, there's a lot of other teams that are hurt. I mean, Colorado's got injuries. I mean, like UCF has injuries. A lot of schools have. I mean, even Texas Tech has had injuries at quarterback, and they've been figuring out to find a way. But yeah, I think there's just been injuries everywhere in college football, and it's kind of and especially in the Big 12, it's kind of unfortunate because the quarterbacks were supposed to be like the prime of this whole class, and now it looks like it's like I listened to Mel Kiper this morning, who's a big NFL draft guy, and he had like Dante Moore as one of his great quarterbacks, and Fernando Mendoza, and there wasn't really the mention of any Big 12 guys. I think Lenora Sellers was mentioned too, which is kind of unfortunate with how many good quarterbacks there were heading into the season.
Well, Colorado's looking for. I mean, they keep changing their quarterbacks too, and I'm also kind of wondering the CFP poll comes out in 2 weeks?
November 4th, so 3 weeks from today.
So obviously Texas Tech's going to be in there. As of right now, I know there's obviously a lot of stuff can happen between now and December. Does the Big 12 have a shot at getting a second team into the playoffs this year?
I think their best shot would probably be BYU, but I mean, if BYU loses this week, maybe not. And then I think Utah would probably have the second best shot. And Cincinnati's looked pretty good recently.
I was going to say, you don't count those Bearcats.
I mean, Sorbsby's looked pretty good so far. I mean, they haven't really played the toughest competition. I mean, UCF played them pretty close last week, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. That's why I'm not really high on Texas Tech, because the whole rest of the Big 12 has looked pretty bad. I mean, just like you said, I'm probably just going to be one team in the college football playoff, especially with all the talent in the Big 10 and the SEC. But luckily for the Big 12, the ACC also hasn't looked that great.
And that's kind of where the argument came in last year with the Big 12. The parity hurts in the end.
Absolutely.
It's exciting during the regular season, hurts in the end when it comes time to fill up those playoff spots. And then one last thing, Spence. Ohio State, I looked this up. Ohio State and Indiana do not play this year. So does Ohio State roll through the rest of the Big Ten? And does that set Ohio State and Indiana up for the Big Ten championship?
Yeah, I think I saw it. It was Ohio State, Indiana, and I think it was Miami. They all have no more ranked matchups on their schedule, especially Indiana had Penn State, but now we've seen Penn State no longer has a head coach, so that's kind of lost for that game. And also Ohio State had Penn State on their schedule too, and that was going to be the shoe-in, big noon kickoff, the college game day, everything, but now Fox is probably going to find another game for that week. So, yeah, after everything that's happened in the Big Ten, and I think it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, which would be a great game. I mean, both of those teams are really good, and Oregon can still run the table probably, and maybe they'll get in. But, I mean, with the remaining schedules, those two teams are probably going to be the top, which will be an awesome game.
Are we out of marquee matchups in college football for the rest of the regular season?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I'm going to sound like I have SEC bias, but there's a lot of good games. I mean, this week there's Georgia and Ole Miss, which is probably the top 10 matchup. Alabama plays Tennessee. That's a good matchup. LSU Vanderbilt's a good matchup this week. There's still a lot of good matchups. And then, of course, the Holy War. I think there'll be more. I don't think it'll be people are going to hate this because they've already been complaining that the college game day this week is going to Ole Miss and Georgia instead of the Holy War, and they haven't been to a single Big 12 venue. But I mean, that's what I've been saying. The Big 12 just hasn't had that many great teams to be able to have those good matchups.
Well, I mean, and here's the other thing with the Big 12, and we want to compare it to the SEC, but even in the SEC, Alabama has already played Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does Alabama and LSU? I don't know if that game's still coming up, but there might be any kind of, like you're saying, any kind of big marquee matchups. They're all going to be the SEC, right?
Yeah,
for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just because there's been so many good teams in the SEC this year. I mean, even like usually the teams that are usually bad, like Vanderbilt and Missouri, are now good again. I think the worst team is Mississippi State, who doesn't have that bad of losses. I mean, they have a win over Arizona State. So I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the SEC. I think the worst team in the SEC right now is Kentucky, and that's probably the worst team. And they're probably the bottom. And then they're probably the only ones. I mean, Auburn hasn't looked good, but I mean, they've played close games. They're all the SEC schools play really close. But yeah, I think this college football season was very like top heavy. I mean, you had right off the gates, it was Ohio State and Texas, which was really good to go out of the gang. But I still think there's going to be some big games coming up in the end of the season.
Matt, do we have anything else for Spence?
Spence killed it.
Spence, he's all over it.
Spence. I don't know what those haters are doing in Texas Tech, but
hey, Spence, appreciate the time. Thanks for the knowledge, and we will give your best regards to the people of Lubbock for you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Appreciate you, Spence.
We were speaking a little bit earlier here about the AP Top 25 college football poll. Earlier this week, the AP Top 25 preseason men's college basketball.
Let's go.
Yep,
I can't believe it's here already,
I didn't
Justin.
know you were so excited
Dude,
for
I
college basketball.
love me some college basketball.
What?
Like, total fanboy here. Total WVU fanboy.
What is the fascination with basketball?
I love it. I mean, football, I've been there, done that. I don't know. Basketball, I can be that. I remember watching my boy Pittsnoggle shoot. Don't shoot, Pittsnoggle. Boom, splash. My boy Beeline, don't shoot, splash. I told you to shoot. It's just a fun time, just really. So if you see some wahoo bald guy with a shiny head at the Coliseum cheering on the Mountaineers, it might be me, man.
The top 25 preseason came out. Purdue, number one ranked team in the country going into the season.
Boilermakers.
Like Spencer, I am the state's AP voter for basketball. On my preseason poll, I had 24 of the 25 teams correctly.
Nice.
picked. So the only one I missed was number 25, North Carolina. I had Oregon as my number 25 team. So I did get the other 24 out of 20. Not in the exact same spots. I was a little low on Duke. I had Duke number 12 on my ballot, and I think they were number 6. I had Arkansas a little bit higher, and I had Louisville higher than what they were finished. But for the most part, I think pretty much a lot of the preseason ballots are sort of the same. Purdue's the favorite. They're homegrown. They've kind of built their team the old-fashioned way. Brought in their freshman guards a couple years ago, let them play and grow and mature, and so now they're probably the best backcourt in the country, and they didn't go out and get a bunch of transfers. They've kind of built their team through recruiting, and that's kind of how Purdue's built their team this year. And let's see, we talked about the Cardinals. I had higher, I had Duke lower. And so that was basically, for anyone interested, that was kind of my intro to the college basketball season.
Hey, I was listening in. I grew up in the Shaq era. I love a good big guy in the middle. What were you saying about that guy from Clemson?
From Clemson?
Was it a big guy from Clemson?
No, we're talking about you're talking about from WVU, the Harlan.
Oh.
From UNC Wilmington.
UNC, okay.
Yeah,
Big
Harlan.
So how tall is he?
He's 7-footer. And apparently he's lost some weight for WVU. He's down to like in the 250, 260 region. I think he came on campus at 280. But, he's one of Coach Hodges'
I love it.
8 transfer portal additions this year. I think West Virginia could be, I obviously don't have him anywhere near the top 25 yet. But I think there is some potential to kind of do what Coach DeVries did last year and surprise some people early and catch some people off guard. But obviously that'll be a topic for another day. Basketball will be
getting the juices
soon.
flowing, though. Getting the juices flowing.
Hey, you can always find the link to the Extra Medium Podcast. Matt, tell the people where they can find it.
Hey, you can always find a link to the Extra Medium Podcast at www.dominionpost.com, or find us on social media at Spotify and YouTube.
And who's our sponsor?
A big shout out to our sponsor. Huge shout out to the Erickson Alumni Center. Provide your guests with an elegant experience utilizing our state-of-the-art conference technology and catering from our in-house executive chef.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's back by popular demand, our favorite segment. We call it What Caught Matt's Eye.
Matt's eye, let us know what is caught Matt's eye.
What caught Matt's eye? I don't like that beat. We're not going to go with that. Hey, what caught Matt's eye? We are going to go to Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions.
The slap?
The slap heard around the world here. So the game's over, right? Kansas City's in victory formation. Mahomes goes to tell Brian Branch, who's a tough guy. Now, this is a guy, he played at Alabama. He's a hitter. This guy's tough. He goes to shake his hand, give him 5, good game. Nah, we're not doing it. And I think what sparked is about 3 minutes left in the game, Branch gets cracked. It's a crackback block by Juju. And
he was not happy with Juju.
He was not happy with Juju, but I mean, I'll get into this later about Juju. But without saying, Juju saw Branch slight his quarterback. That's my quarterback. We're not going to bring up that T.O. quote. But anyway, Juju saw Branch slight his quarterback, and he starts running his mouth, and Branch just goes up there and open hand slaps the guy in the helmet, which is sometimes what we do as football players, but usually the person doesn't get knocked down. Juju did get knocked down. He got up. He's kind of figuring out what the heck's going on. And when you're in a little scrap like that, you want to rip the guy's helmet off. Juju got bloodied up a little bit. It was very interesting to see. I think it was kind of like I guess you would say, childish thing, but I think Juju has had this coming for a long time.
Do you have any good handshake stories? Post-game handshake stories from back in the day?
I got so many good handshake stories. One of my favorite. This was in college. We had some in high school, but we had to make sure and do it where Coach McNew couldn't see us or get mad at us. But in college, I wanted to make sure to we played Miami, and this was a stacked Miami team, and they were loaded. And that was I wanted to.
Was this down in the Orange Bowl? Or
this was here
in Morgantown.
That team had Jonathan Vilma, Vince Wilfork,
probably the Sean Taylor, right?
Sean Taylor, DJ. That defense was stacked, but I wanted to make sure to say hi to Sean Taylor because, I never really was in awe of many football players except for Grant Wiley. Wiley, I was always in awe of. I watched Grant Wiley and Quincy. They idols to this day. But I wanted to say what's up to Sean Taylor. I didn't talk no mess, no anything, but that was kind of my handshake story. High school, we tried to.
Did Sean Taylor acknowledge you?
He's like, "What's up, big man?" I said, "Yeah, boy. Yes, sir." I had my helmet on. Maybe he thought I got in or something.
Right.
Maybe he thought I got in. But anyway, back with that Brian Branch thing. I don't know. What do you think about that? You don't see that often now, but he has that old school mentality, but you just can't do that in 2025. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's going to get fined, right? I don't know. I think they announced the fine, right?
I believe 1 game suspension without pay, which is going to be a hefty.
But I mean, he slapped the guy in the helmet, right? I mean,
he slapped and he pulled his helmet off and bloodied him up a little bit.
Okay,
but that's going to be it for that. I want to also move on. We spoke about this earlier with Spence, but I want to bring this up to you. So James Franklin, out at Penn State. What was your?
I don't know. I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts? I mean, he was in the Final Four a year ago.
I don't know. I mean, it is a cutthroat business. College football is a cutthroat business. I'm trying to look at some, maybe I can see what the AD is saying, and they said it did play in part to the firing the big game record, and I guess, against Ohio State, it wasn't great. There were a couple schools, and, losing to Northwestern is not good, but to get fired,
and you lose your quarterback in the game.
You lose your quarterback. Right, yeah. So I think he had around a 104-45 record, but he, you know what? He has 45 to 50 million reasons to keep his head up.
Well, to me, that's my take. If I'm a coach in today's game, and not that the buyouts are extremely large in college basketball, but they're in the millions of dollars. Right? Obviously, in college football, the buyouts are much, much larger. If I was a coach in the situation, I'm not feeling bad about getting. I mean, $50 million is $50 million.
Yeah,
what's your buyout?
3 cents.
3 cents.
I have a 3 cent buyout. It's in the contract. I had to fight for it.
With Ogden newspapers, I think my buyout's a 6-pack of Zima.
Let's go. Yeah. I love the Zima reference.
But yeah, no. If I'm James Franklin, I don't feel bad at all time. I'm laughing all the way to the bank.
Did you see a tweet? Do you remember the name Cardell Jones?
Oh yeah, the Ohio State quarterback.
And
right.
He kind of took him by storm and had a wonderful run there in the the championship back then. But so he's a former Ohio State quarterback, Cardell Jones. He said, "Hey, he sent a tweet that said something along the lines." Yeah, Franklin got him. All you need to do is make him think you can coach. Get that big buyout and cash away, baby, right off in the sunshine. So I don't know, man. I think Franklin's the kind of guy, he's probably really upset. 50 million to him may not even be as much as the Penn State job. I don't know. Coaches are built different. They're
Well, more importantly, what's the next coach? What's his buyout?
$100 million.
Well, that's what I mean. If I'm the incoming coach, I'm asking for something like that.
Exactly, 100%. I mean, 100%. So it's like such a prestigious job. I mean, there's a handful of jobs like this in the NCAA, but also it's a weird position to be in, not only with what's going on with James Franklin's firing, but just what's going on in the landscape of college football. So
because if I am the next coach, whether it's Matt Rule or Bill Belichick or whoever comes in to Penn State next, if you just fired a guy who took your team to the Final Four the year before, I know my footing is not going to be is not going to be very good. So yeah, I'm probably asking for 60, 70, 75 million as the buyout.
That's a great point. And they're going to have someone who can do that, who can ask. They're going to have someone prestigious who can ask for that. It's going to be wonderful to keep your eyes on. Dare we see Kurt Signetti? I mean, there's just all these names. It's going to be something to keep your eye on and an interesting story to play out here.
We are moving right along right now. We're going to bring in of the Dominion Post.
The legend.
It was a big week of high school football. Big week 7 around the state. Mm-hmm. Number 1 ranked Morgantown High. Number 2 ranked George Washington. Both lost in the same week. Mike, first off, what's the verberation of number 1 and number 2 going down?
Well, with the way that Martinsburg performed, it's kind of turning back the clock a little bit, and the Bulldogs are establishing themselves back at the top. Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of said that Quad A was a little wide open the first few weeks we talked.
Maybe not now.
Maybe not as wide open, but Justin and I were talking yesterday, and playoff seedings are going to play a huge role. Typically we try to ignore those numbers beside the names, but when the playoffs come around, it's going to play a big part in who's left, and some of the top teams could be playing each other in early rounds. It's going to be fun to watch.
So those games, Martinsburg defeated Morgantown High. Morgantown High was on the road in Martinsburg, 34-6. Martinsburg, the Bulldogs won. The second game, George Washington fell to Jefferson, 34-33. And Matt, I got to tell you a story about this game.
Yeah, please do. 34-33.
Yeah.
So Jefferson is up 34-27 late in the fourth quarter. They're driving. They're deep into George Washington territory. They're trying to run out the clock. So it's fourth down. They go for it. Don't get it. So now GW's got, first and like 77, to go down and score, which they do. They drive down the field and score. So now they've got to kick the extra point or go for 2, for the winner time. They're going to go for the extra point. They're going to go for the tie, play for overtime. Bam, Jefferson jumps off sides trying to, get the early jump on blocking the kick. So they move the ball up from the 3 to like the 1.5. They're going to kick it again. Bam, Jefferson jumps off sides again. So now the ball, the back end of the football is on the 1, So now GW is going to go for 2. They're going to go for the win. Jefferson stops them cold.
What?
Jefferson stops him cold from inside the one on a 2-point try. You think the game's over, right?
Yeah.
No, not at all. GW recovers the onside kick.
What?
And now there's like 18 seconds left, right? And I'm pretty sure they're out of timeouts. They complete a ball down the field, 9, 10, 11, what down the field. Kid gets out of bounds, stops the clock. They complete another pass down the field. Kid gets tackled in bounds. Game over.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Jefferson holds on 34-33. Jefferson's second win of the year, right?
Yeah.
And the other one was
Washington or Musselman,
right.
one of those two.
I mean, both of them have been kind of big upset wins, right?
Yeah. What can you say? I mean, I think the Cougars were the lowest scoring team in the class coming into this game offensively. And then you put 34 up on the number 2 team in the state who hadn't dropped a game yet. So, man, I mean, what can you say? But, the week before, GW had only beaten Parkersburg 37-30, and that was kind of raising a little bit of question marks. Parkersburg lost to Morgantown by 40 points in the opening week. So it was a little bit of a iffy coming into the game. But, I mean, you didn't think that Jefferson was going to pull it off, really, because, the Cougars had struggled through their first few weeks. So, man, what a win. I mean, that's going to shake up. That's going to matter a lot when it comes down to the playoff ratings for sure, because GW has a lot of tough games. They're going to play Huntington this week. They have a couple games that they're going to have to fight for wins. If they end up with 3 or 4 losses, that can knock them out of the top 8.
Other Week 7 results from around the area. Clay Battelle defeated Richwood 47-6. That was pretty much expected, right?
Yep.
In that game, Trey Huggins of Clay Battelle had a Triple Crown game.
Triple Crown game? What's that?
Triple Crown. He ran for a touchdown, passed for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown.
What?
So that's a pretty
That's
good.
awesome.
That's
That's
pretty
awesome.
Good night.
He didn't catch his own pass, though, right?
No, he didn't catch his own
Okay.
pass. No. And then also, Michael, you were out at University High, right?
Yeah.
They beat Connellsville 52-12.
Yes.
And Connellsville was a team we saw a few weeks ago against Morgantown. University High, big bounce back win for the Hawks.
Yeah, the second time they've done that, right? Every time the Hawks have taken a loss, they've come back to earn a pretty good win. You dropped a game to Wheeling Park, a heartbreaker, came back and beat Fairmont Senior. You lost to Butler, PA last week on the road. You came back home for homecoming and took care of business against Connellsville. So a team that scored 21 points on Morgantown in a half, right, earlier in the season. So really good win for the Hawks. I think it was only like 31-12. Not only, I guess that's a pretty good lead, but it was 31-12 at some point, and then the Hawks clamped down in the second half and played really well. They're a little banged up, but they continue to play really good offensively. And if their defense can match that, then they're gonna go on a little run in the playoffs, I think. But they have to be able to play complementary football.
We're going to get into some very interesting bracketology here in a second. But the other game that sort of caught my eye from last week was Wheeling Park's loss to Fairmont Senior. In that game, Brennan Wack, the star running back for the Patriots, sat out a second straight game with the hamstring injury. And I've got to ask, at this point, he's probably the best player in the state. And I don't know if there would be much argument on that fact. But you miss 2 games. If he misses another one, does that – I mean, at some point you have to ask yourself if it hurts his chances for the Kennedy Award, don't you?
Yeah, and it's really like 2.5 games at this point because he sat out one half of the game that he got hurt too. But, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially some of the performances that we see. I mean, every single week there seems to be at least 1 or 2 kids that are – putting on these near record-breaking or record-breaking performances. So, and sometimes it's a kid that's done it already once. So, I mean, that, there's going to be someone, if not there is somebody already who, is on the heels of Brennan Wack and the race for the Player of the Year award. And, if he does miss another game, that's a lot of time. I mean, there's only 10 games in these seasons, I mean, you miss 3 games, that's a chunk. I mean, that really is a quarter of the season, if not more. So,
Matt, should a player... I mean, the question is simple. Should a player be penalized for injury?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it's the easy way is to say it's got to be just year by year. Like, for the Kennedy, should you be punished? I think it could go either way. Is he still the best player in the state? Yes, but
I think punish or penalize is a hard word because injuries are something you can't control. If it was like a suspension, maybe if he did some
suspension would be
maybe if his grades were, if it was something like that, then I could get into the talk about, how do we, go about it that way. But injuries are tough, right? Like
Injuries are tough,
it's hard.
But just as an example, let's say it's Whack and he had a wonderful season, and I'm just using his name as an example here.
Yeah.
And there's no one else really in the pot.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
That's fair.
Give it to the guy. But if someone else is having an amazing season, the numbers are there.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you ignore it. I think it matters. I just think punish is the wrong word. Does that make sense? Because I think if he misses the game, I mean, you have. There's no way. I mean, it's just like if the Heisman winner misses 2 or 3 games and they give him the Heisman.
It's the same kind of argument.
You know, like that's how it has to matter. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's an injury, but you have to look at it that way.
Let's say this kid was injured and comes back and helps get his
absolutely.
wonderful run. Then,
well, if he comes back, he's averaging so many yards per game that it's going to look like he didn't miss a game because he's going to have the same numbers.
Not to get off topic, but Wheeling Park still put up 42 points. How were they managing to do that without?
They finally found the passing game. Their quarterback, Justin, how many yards did you say he had in this game?
I think it was 276, 278.
And coming in, he was only averaging just over 100 per game. He was only averaging 100 yards in the air per game, and they obviously had to put it in the air, and you saw what happened. So if their defense can match, they can probably win a few more games without him. But
now, I will say this, we had Rich Stevens on last week, and he kind of explained a little bit how the West Virginia Sports Writers Association worked. What I do like with the Kennedy Award voting, and not just the Kennedy Award, but all the other major awards that are handed out to players around the state. With the Heisman, the ballot, you have to turn your ballot in for the Heisman at the end of the regular season or by the end of the conference championship games. The awards, the ballots for the Kennedy and other such awards, those don't really get turned in until like semifinals of the playoffs. So if he is able to come back and perform well towards the end of the regular season and then have a couple of good games in the playoffs, I think it puts him right back in there.
Yeah.
But you do have a little bit longer to turn your ballot in for the state awards.
We actually vote on those position awards at the all-state meeting. So that all happens at one time. So even the all-state teams get done at that same time. So, a lot of sports, it's kind of weird in high school because when it comes to all-state for the West Virginia Sports Writers Association, I can talk about this because I am a member of the association. I do vote on these teams and these players. Some sports we do it after the state tournament happens. Some sports we do it before. So it's a little weird because, for basketball and football, we can get these postseason performances. If a kid goes and leads his team to a state championship, do we put his name in the pot? Do we not? But then when you vote on him before, and you maybe you name a kid the player of the year or something, and they don't have a very good game. Like I think a few years ago in baseball, we named a kid from Hedgesville player of the year, and he went out and just got rocked in the first game of the state tournament.
Gotcha.
So it's just that kind of thing. But that Justin makes a really good point, and we're able to see, because especially some of the half of these teams' schedules are just teams that they're going to blow out of the water in any way. So then you get somebody in the postseason when they're playing these competitive games, when they really got to bear down and play football and just get down to business, I guess. So
we're going to get into Week 7 games here real quick, and then because this is going to lead us into our bracketology, which is going to bring up a good moment here for you here in a second.
Okay. I like that.
Week 7 games. Parkersburg South is at number 2 Morgantown. These are Friday night games, all at 7 o'clock kickoffs. The big one, number 5 Spring Mills is at number 7 University. Number 1 in Class AAA Bridgeport will travel to Kingwood and play the Preston Knights at 7 o'clock on Friday. And then another big one, Class AA Riverview will travel to number 7 Clay Battelle. That's a 7 o'clock game. And now we're going to get into some bracketology because this is something I've been kind of holding off because I wanted to wait until we had some games in and not 7-8 games in during the season. The Class Quad A rankings, playoff rankings, and the Class A rankings, which is very much associated with Morgantown High, University High, and Clay Battelle and Single A. This is going to get very interesting.
Yeah.
And Mike, we can talk about the Clay Battelle. I kind of want to start with them because this is they've gone. Let's see what right now they are 5-1. So they've gone 6 games. Their playoff points right now are like 42.4 of what they've amassed through those first 6 games. Over the next 2 weeks, and really more than the next 2 weeks, but over these next 2 weeks, they have a chance to get 30 points.
Wow.
In those 2 weeks. So all of a sudden, number 7, they've got a shot. Number 2, number 3. Now, of course, you got to go out and win.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, and the thing you're talking about is they're still going to play Sherman, who's number 2 right now. There's going to be another opportunity to make a move
huge
and knock another team down a little bit. I think Cameron still has to play. There's another couple teams that are at the top that'll play each other. So the CB's season has turned into one word, and it is opportunity. They have every single game remaining on their schedule at home. They don't have to leave Blacksville for a month at least to play football. These guys have just a massive opportunity in front of them, and I think they're playing like they know that, right? And, man, like we talked about, Lepeau could be my midseason coach of the year right now. This team is just on a mission. It's just incredible what they're doing out there right now.
Here's kind of what we're talking about here. So they play Riverview, which is a 3-3 team in Class AA.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between single A and double A, if a single A team beats a single A team, it's 6 points plus the bonus. If you beat a double A team, it's 9 points. Plus the bonus.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then plus, your other bonus points from other teams that you've beaten and played. So that's where the 15 comes in. And then the next week they play Sherman, which is ranked. We're projecting them to be number 5 this week, but they are 6-1. So if you beat Sherman, you would get Sherman's off this week.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get the 6 points for beating a single A team plus the 6 bonus points. So that's another 12 points plus some other bonus points that would be out there. So you could essentially get 30 points over the next 2 weeks. And then the following week, they play Oak Glen, which is another double A team that has even more bonus points available. So I don't know if Clay Battelle could potentially – I don't think they could catch Wahama, but I think mathematically if Clay Battelle were to win out, they could definitely finish 2nd or 3rd in the state, which would be a high mark for the school.
I mean, it would be that's an ESPN 30 for 30 right there.
That's a 30 for 30, baby.
You bring back their all-time leading rusher to Blacksville, bring him home, and he goes from 4-5 one season to absolutely looking like the best coach in the state this year. I mean, what can you say about this guy? It's fun to watch. Opportunity, man. Lepeau is going to be pounding that word into his players' heads this week and for weeks to come. It's just I think he told this to you over the phone over the weekend. Everything is in front of them, and they know that. We know that everything is in front of them. And just, man, what can you say? The scheduling, too. Like, I've been preaching this all year about them scheduling. It's like, it's just, I don't know why I'm so fascinated at the ability for him to schedule this year, but he is preparing his team for something special. And come November, come Thanksgiving, I mean, we could see the Seabees playing for something big. So.
Did I hear that right? So the rest of their remaining games are home?
Yeah, they had.
Now, is the Magnolia game on the road?
No,
okay.
I saw it on the road once there, but every single game that they have is at home for the rest of the year, man.
Awesome.
They don't. And then if you think about it, if they end up hosting at least one game in the playoffs at home, they're not going to have to leave Blacksville for 6 weeks to play football. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be fresh. They're going to be sleeping in their own beds. They're going to be eating their mama's cooking. It's just. It's amazing, man. They're gonna. I'm excited to see what happens with
Mama's cooking coming into the podcast.
Mama's cooking.
Hey, listen, their basketball team had a chili cook-off the other day. I bet there was some pretty good food out there.
That was top tier, S class.
Well, now here's the bracketology part, and we're gonna transfer this over to Quad A here in a second. If we were to poll the experts, so to speak, in Class Single A, right now you would probably say Wahama and Wheeling Central are the 2 favorites, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
So if you have Clay Battelle suddenly climbing up the rankings, it's going to reshuffle some of these things. Here's the bracketology part of it. In theory, in the playoffs, you could have Wahama's probably going to be the number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Wheeling Central could, in theory, be the 4 seed. Clay Battelle fits in there at 2 or 3. So you could have, in theory, your top 2, power teams, or however you want to call it, Wheeling Central and Wahama in the same bracket.
Right.
Clay Battelle sits there in the other bracket, right? Now you see how I'm going with this.
Yeah,
right?
I see where you're going. I like
This
this,
is the
Justin.
this is the bracketology part
Okay.
coming
Yeah.
out at me.
That's what we were alluding to when we were talking about Martinsburg kind of earlier, is that, they could end up 4 or 1, or if they ended up 1 and Huntington ended up 4,
Well, that's my point.
it's the same thing, yeah.
As we move over to Quad A, and you kind of got the same situation.
Right.
If you were to poll the experts, you would probably say Huntington, and you would say Martinsburg are your two favorites right now. Morgantown High sitting there at number 2 in the state. They've got a game against Parkersburg South. They won't get a lot of bonus points for that. But down the road, there's this game.
What game are you
There is
referencing?
this game, the Mohawk Bowl. Go ahead.
The Mohawk Bowl.
If Morgantown High were to win out, that is a huge win in the Mohawk Bowl. Plenty of playoff points. So you could essentially have Morgantown High sitting there at number. Well, they could, in theory, overtake Huntington.
Yeah.
Even though Huntington could rack up a lot of points with a win over GW.
yeah.
But then Huntington might have another loss coming to them though, because they've got another
Powerhouse out of
team
state,
from Tennessee coming in.
Right. Yeah.
So Morgantown High could retake the number 1 ranking by the time the playoffs start if they were to win out. And then you could, in theory, have Huntington and Martinsburg in the same bracket.
Yep.
I would love to see that happen.
You would have Huntington and Martinsburg playing in the semifinals, and Morgantown sitting there waiting on the winner.
And just to stress the importance of this, Justin, let's look at this wonderful Morgantown team. When they went to Martinsburg, I mean, there was that play that Morgantown High, and not to bring up wounds from the past, but on the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
And there was a play where the sound system started going off on a 3rd down, and we were all like, I think you can see it on the TV. It's weird. It's tough to play away. It's tough to play away.
I think it's just tough to play at Martinsburg.
It's tough to play at Martinsburg.
It's tough to play
Credit where
Martinsburg
credit's
where,
due.
yeah.
That's a wonderful team. But gee whiz, this is going to be some interesting stuff to keep an eye on. Who could play here? Who could play there?
Yeah.
Even as a player, this is really fun. This is really fun to keep an eye on, to see who your opponents might be. I want it to, if I'm Morgantown, I want it to just give me Martinsburg one more time, but give them to me at home.
Well, Martinsburg might be. I mean, if they have to go through Huntington,
Yeah, if they
right?
go- yeah. Exactly. So be careful what you wish for.
Are you happy that I mentioned the Mohawk Bowl?
I'm very. I don't know if you noticed,
Sneaking
but
up on us here.
I've been that Mohawk Bowl went a little bit longer than usual because it's that fall beautiful weather out there, guys.
The big game this week, University High, Spring Mills. By the projected rankings, that is a 5 and 7, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
So right there, University High. I mean, University High, if they are able to get that one,
Yeah.
puts them right back into the hunt, right?
Yeah, and it'll make the Mohawk Bowl that much more
Yes.
important. Honestly, really, you can look at it both a win or a loss for University. Obviously, the Mohawk Bowl is important, but it's just the Mohawk Bowl is going to be even more after this game because if they can manage to win this, they maybe could secure a top 8 with this win, regardless of the game against Morgantown. But this one's huge. And I'm really looking to see University perform against a top team.
Yeah.
Because
Spring Mills is
that's
tough.
Spring Mills is tough. This has been they beat a Connellsville team like 52-0 or something like that earlier in the season. So, if you want to compare like games, common opponents, it'll be tough. The University has been struggling against the tougher teams. They tend to score a lot of points, but they don't tend to keep their opponents from scoring. Wheeling Park beat them 42-35.
Yeah.
They let Fairmont score a ton of points. They pulled that one out, but yeah, Butler, PA, they lost to. That's a 7-1 team as well. Wheeling Park actually plays them this week. It'll be interesting to see that game too. But University has to show that they can play against the top teams. They have to be able to play with the lead. They have to be able to, get ahead by 3 touchdowns and maintain that lead and not get in your way and not hurt yourself with some inexperience or whatever. But that's what I am looking forward to most this week is really, can UHS match what we know that they can do and against the top team? And this is like a playoff game if you really think about it.
Yeah.
That's going to be the atmosphere up there on Friday night, and that the Hawks have to come out and show that they are worthy of that number beside their name. So.
Would it be Eric Snyder's biggest win of his young career?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, he hasn't really had another opportunity like this yet. I mean, obviously last year they only won 4 games, so you really didn't have a chance to get into the playoffs after the first half of the season. And now you're going from there to potentially hosting at home your second year at the helm. So it's kind of like the Seabees. I mean, they're turning it around up there on Baker's Ridge too.
Yeah.
If Eric Snyder can pull off this win, I mean, they will put the rest of the class on notice and say that we're here.
We were talking a few minutes ago about Brennan Wack at Wheeling Park with his chances with the Kennedy. Hayden George from University Hyde, is he the shoe-in for the Randy Moss winner at this point?
That's a good question, actually.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I would probably have to do a little deep dive into some other numbers with some other teams, obviously. But I mean, the kid has, I think, over 60 catches now in 6 games.
He's approaching 900 yards. I think?
Yeah, maybe closer to 1,000. I mean, dude, he's. Like I said, he's the safe hands from Allstate out there on the field for University.
Yeah, I love that.
You throw it to him, and the thing is, like I told you guys, man, when this kid gets the ball, it's what he's going to do after he touches. I mean, I know it's kind of cliche to say, but like this kid, like he turns 1-yard catches into 65-yard touchdowns.
You know what we call that, legend? That yak.
Dude, I mean, this guy looks like a Wes Welker out there, catching balls from Tom Brady. So. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
He made some guys miss against Connellsville that just blew my mind and ended up breaking it for a touchdown.
He's a yards after catch guy.
I mean, just John Kelly, the legendary coach from University. He told me that since Hayden's freshman year, it was apparent that he was the best yards after catch receiver in the entire state. So, and it's coming true. So yeah. So I mean, he's fun to watch.
You know what I really like? Because we were talking with Spencer earlier about how there just doesn't seem to be there's a lack of big-time college football games at the end of the regular season.
Yeah.
Not so in high school.
Not so.
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
No.
I mean, obviously, like you said, this week, Huntington, GW, that is
huge.
That's a 1 versus 3
Yep.
matchup. We got the Mohawk Bowl.
Bowl.
University High plays Spring Mills before that. Huntington's got the game against the powerhouse from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Martinsburg and Spring Mills play. That's a big rivalry game.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've got we went over Clay Battel's schedule.
Yep.
That is, for the around the state and for the local area.
Yeah.
There are a ton of big games coming up down the stretch.
Like each game is going to have huge implications.
And they all mean something. That's the best part is they all mean something.
Let me ask you guys this. Let me play this theoretical thing. What if you're a coach at a high school? You're really good with bracketology. And should you lose, it would actually benefit you for your future playoff. What do you guys do there?
You're trying to position yourself in a certain bracket kind of thing.
Yeah. Do you play the freshman squad? I mean, is that an interesting take?
It's an interesting take. I mean, I think it's a little too. I think it's a little too unpredictable.
Yeah.
As far as teams,
so if a team wins the coin toss, the opening coin toss, and decides to kick off both halves, the fix might be in. Is what you're saying?
Well, watch for the kick both halves. But that's food for thought right there.
Yeah, I'm. It's like I said. I mean, for it to mean something, and not only just the games. I mean, even the Player of the Year awards, all these positional awards. Like in years past, by now you would kind of know, who's going to be there, but we just don't right now. And I think that's the best part about just being involved in West Virginia high school football at all levels. I mean, there are so many talented teams, and come playoff time, I mean, you're really going to want to get your eyes on as many games as you can because there are going to be some instant classics out there.
So that pretty much covers it, right?
I think so. I'm
no more Mohawk Bowl for a couple weeks, right?
I guess.
All right. Okay.
Make them wait a little bit longer.
Let's go with some predictions because we're sitting here talking about these big games. Michael, what do you say? Let's start off with the big one. Spring Mills at University, 5 versus 7.
This is a tough one. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. Man. I've gone back and forth on this because this is really hard to pick, but I think University can get it done. They're at home. They're going to like that back-to-back home games for the first time this season. Give me University 31, Spring Mills 27.
Great.
He's leading up to the big Mohawk Bowl.
Great prediction.
Right.
Hey, but I'm with you. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Spring Mills can score, but I'm not sure what they can stop, but I got University 45, Spring Mills 32.
Ooh.
Parkersburg South at number 2 Morgantown. Do we know just the level of health for the Mohegans at this point?
Yeah, Thompson was back. Isaiah Thompson was back last week, which was nice. I think they're relatively healthy for the most part. Twig is on the mend. Obviously, he played a full game, which was nice. And being able to get through a full game with Martinsburg when you're not 100% is obviously a plus. Park South 2-4, but
They're struggling.
They are winners of their last 2 games, but they did drop their first 4. And it'll be tough coming. Park South and Morgantown, it doesn't matter what sport it is nowadays. This is a big rivalry game. These two schools don't really like each other athletically, so it's going to be fun. I think Morgantown's going to want to come out and put a lot of points on the board. I'm going to take 45. Morgantown 45. We'll take Park South 17.
They don't like each other. That's like the old Keith Jackson, right?
I like that they don't like each other.
These two teams just don't like each other.
You should catch a basketball game between these two.
There's nothing like that heals that pain from a loss that just sits sick in your stomach until the next week, next opponent, next man up that you want to punch in the face.
Yeah.
That's Parkersburg South for Morgantown. Parkersburg South's coming into a not so happy Morgantown team that's ready to polish up some things, get some injuries healed. I got Morgantown big, 38-10.
And Michael, the other big one, number 7 Clay Battelle, moving up in class, playing a double-A Riverview. Can they get the job done against a class double-A school?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Seabees until they give me a reason not to
I
right
love
now.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
The legend.
So, yeah, man, Clay Battelle, they're just going to continue to get it done, I think. Aren't they scoring points? Give me Clay Battelle 48, and I'll take Riverview 31. We'll see. I think Riverview's going to score some points.
Now let me just throw this out there. Going by what we thought back in August, right? Going into the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
If in 3 weeks Clay Battelle pulls off this run, right? They beat 2 double-A schools, and then they beat Sherman.
9-1.
And you see Clay Battelle sitting there at number 2 in the state. Shocking? Or did we just have it wrong at the beginning of the year?
I don't think shocking is the word, but I think surprised, not shocked but surprised that they are that high. I think that we agreed that they'd be a top 8 team this year.
And the potential was there.
Right. I mean, even after they lost the first game, it was a 22-16 loss to Cameron, and we were like, hey, we're excited about these guys, right? So yeah, I think that I don't want to say shocked, but I will say pleasantly surprised, and I think that they would say the same thing too. I mean, 9-1, just with the schedule that you have, my goodness.
Well, like we said, just to kind of sum up this Clay Battelle thing, so they've got 42.4 points right now through their 6 games. Over their next 3, they could potentially double that,
right? Yeah.
More than double that in the span of 3 games. And that's those playoff points. If you're able to get those 3 wins, that's what shoots them up the rankings.
Yeah, and then they'll have their last game at home against Magnolia, who's at the bottom.
They're struggling, right?
Bottom half of single A, and that's a game that Clay Battelle lost last year by 2 points when they were fighting for a playoff spot. So they have that game circled.
Yeah.
They're going to want to come out and put some helmets on helmets in that game.
Yeah.
Everything's in front of these guys right now. So.
And then there's the Mohawk Bowl.
The Mohawk Bowl.
Have we mentioned that yet?
Yeah, I don't think.
This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
We got anything else, Matt?
I think we covered a lot, but just it's an exciting time.
Oh my gosh.
Again, what we alluded to it and what we talked about with Spence and the Big 12, there's just not really many household names in the conference, but in the West Virginia high school football, we're not only have household names, we're learning other names.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, I'm learning other programs here.
Yeah, and it's
Tulsa.
Tulsa.
Yeah,
Tulsa. The
Rebels.
Rebels. I already forgot.
That's right.
Bless you, gentlemen.
No $1. No $1 challenge.
Come on, man. That's a. Where's my 3 cents, man?
Michael, we appreciate it, and we can't wait to hear some evaluation after some of these games this week and in the weeks coming up. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, we're going to run out of time. They're giving us so much to talk about. We're going to run out of time one week. I don't know what's going on anymore.
That is all the time that we have for this week. It was a lot of fun, Matt. Good to having you back. You're good and healthy, right?
Oh, happy to be here. Healthier than a hog.
We want to thank both Michael Griffith and Spencer Ripchuk for joining us today. For now, Matt, it's time to say goodbye. It's Pace and Bills.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, and a special thanks to the Erickson Alumni Center for supporting the show. Select a wedding venue where you can host the perfect ceremony and reception while providing your guests with a caring and comfortable environment. This is the Extra Medium Sports Podcast, where couches are safe, but the takes are on fire. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week for episode 9.